I thought he had great energy, great command all day. I thought he threw the ball incredibly accurately and all parts of the field, really activated all parts of our pass game. And then, there was a couple where he's hitting the spots we want, and then we just got to be able to finish some of those plays. But I'm encouraged because we can coach off of those, and we're getting those opportunities to feel what it's like for him to be able to throw with Allen. Ben Skoranek made a handful of plays, also Tutu, and so, he's got a comfort level with Higbee and with Cooper, but some of these newer guys, today was a great step in the right direction to be able to start establishing that rapport that will be critical for this year.
And, Cooper Kupp had a Veterans Day off, and we talked yesterday about how defenses are probably going to try to take away Kupp whenever and wherever they can this year, so it's kind of good to have a day where you're building rapport with all the guys not named Cooper Kupp, in the event that Cooper Kupp is going to be blanketed come Thursday night, 3 weeks from now, 22 days away from the Bills taking on the Los Angeles Rams. So a much better vibe around the Rams and quarterback Matthew Stafford now, Chris. It sounds like they've gotten this elbow thing worked out. They've gotten it under control. They figured out whatever they needed to figure out, this baseball injury. Yep. They got whatever help they needed, and it looks like Stafford, for now, is good to go.
Yeah, it is. It's hopeful. It sounds like I feel like it sounds like it's in the past. They were confident with people I talked to out there that they had gotten on the right track and found some people I think in the baseball world to kind of fix this elbow issue. And when I was kind of told those type of things, there it was 5-6 days later, he was out there throwing, and here we are. What is it? Two weeks, a little bit more than that. And it seems like it's back to status quo, and there's nothing to worry about. So hopefully they can stay on top of this. We want to see the Rams at their best. And to your point where we just talked about Rodgers, and you just heard McVay talk about it there, he didn't get to work with Allen Robinson in the offseason because he didn't throw. He couldn't do any of that. They were trying to rest this elbow. So they I'm sure are trying to play a little bit of catch up here with trying to gain that rapport and rhythm and timing with guys. We know that is important, but I'm glad it's in the past, and it just makes me more excited for Week 1 because I want to see Allen and Stafford going at it.
All right, so let's take a look at this. What's more likely for the Rams offense? They roll with the receivers they have, or they trade for a veteran at some point during the season. What's more likely?
Ooh, I mean, I think that there's going to be some sort of move made at some point. So I don't know if they're going to have to trade because I think OBJ is still there for them to be had. I would say they're still the team that he would like to go play for, and I think nobody in OBJ's history has shown him more love than the Los Angeles Rams. So I do think they got the inside track for that. Now, the trade itself, that's a different thing. I don't necessarily just go, oh, they're definitely going to trade. I think, hey, Skoranek has got some physical ability. He's big. He's a pretty good route runner. I remember watching him at Notre Dame. He's impressive that way. And then they got this Tutu Atwell coming up the ranks here as well, who's explosive as hell and one of those jitterbug, speed sweep, reverse type of guys. And then Van Jefferson being back. So I don't know if I see a trade happening. So I guess what would I answer there? I guess I'm selling the trade, but I do think that OBJ could be added, but that's not going to have to happen through a trade.
Tutu Atwell is 5'9" and 165 pounds.
Isn't that crazy?
He's 5'7" and 150, right?
Well, I don't know about that. The NFL doesn't embellish too much. It's not the NBA where they measure you with like sneakers on and don't. In the NFL, when they measure you at the combine, they literally push your head down and try to shrink you. I mean, I remember being like doing this, and I remember a guy like pushing my head down, being like, "That kind of hurts. Like, can you get off me? It makes my neck feel weird." So they don't let you cheat some of that stuff as much as I think the public thinks. It's colleges that really BS that. The colleges, oh my gosh, I'd look at the game day roster the first time we're in the locker room, and this guy's 6'3", 240, and I'd be like, how about 6'1.5", 205? What the hell are they talking about? So that's where it gets embellished at times.
And I agree with you. Between the guys they have and the possibility of bringing back OBJ, they don't need to trade for anyone. And last year they didn't trade for OBJ. He finagled his way out of Cleveland, and they signed him as a free agent. But you know how it goes. There'll be a team out there that ends up not being as good as they thought they were going to be, and you got a receiver getting close to the end of his contract.
Yeah, that's right.
To to get value at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but the Rams aren't bashful about
F them
buying.
picks.
F them picks,
Right.
baby, and they'll do it if they think it's going to make the team better. What's more likely for the Rams offense? Cooper Kupp leads the NFL in receiving yards again, or he finishes outside the top 5?
Ooh. Woo. I'm going to go he
one's easy for
finishes
me.
outside the top 5.
Yes.
And again, it's just hard to replicate what, leading the NFL in receiving once again. And damn, the LSU boys are coming. Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are just too freaky and talented, and I just think their roles are going to expand in their offense. So, again, I don't really expect him to finish outside the top 5, but as we've talked about, Super Bowl team, everybody studies them. Of course, the teams that are playing them study them extra hard, and they're going to try to take away some of these tricks that get Cooper Kupp open so often. So, I still think he'll have a great year, but if you're going to give me one of those, I go he finishes outside the top 5.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for the reasons we discussed yesterday and earlier today, the idea that they're going to blanket Cooper Kupp and affirmatively try to take him away. And you've got Justin Jefferson, who'll be the Cooper Kupp of the Vikings offense.
Yep.
You've got Jamar Chase coming along. You've got guys who want to prove that they're the best and their offense. I mean, Jefferson had over 1,600 receiving yards with a dysfunctional coaching staff and a revolving door offensive coordinator, and it was another new offense and another new. This is Kevin O'Connell taking the Rams approach to Minnesota. I think if Justin Jefferson stays healthy, it's going to be him, and that's the other side of it too. Cooper Kupp managed to stay healthy all of last year. You never know when a guy's going to get injured. It's a high bar to lead the league in receiving yards. So between the two options, it is more likely in my mind that he ends up out of the top 5 instead of leading the league for the second straight year.
Yeah, and Allen Robinson being there, I would think is going to take some of his targets away as well. I mean, Allen Robinson's really talented. I mean, he's a bona fide number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. He's just been on some crap teams and crap offenses, so people don't know. So I can imagine, a little Rams on Rams crime there with as far as taking that away or taking some catches away from Cooper Kupp. But yeah, I think you hit it spot on. There's some young talented guys and some different offensive situations that I think are going to challenge that top receiving spot.
Next one, shifting to the running backs. Cam Akers returns to his pre-injury workhorse role. Remember, he tore an Achilles tendon prior to training camp last year, came back very late in the season, but he's still working his way back to what he was as a rookie in 2020. Or Darrell Henderson leads the team in rushing this season. What's more likely?
I'm going to go with Cam Akers returns to, the workhorse role. He's clearly the best running back they got on their roster. I like Darrell Henderson, but he's a nice guy to come off the bench, spell him, a little smaller, maybe a hair quicker in some ways. But Akers, man, he runs through tackles. He can break tackles. He's a home run hitter. I think he'll be the guy for them, more times than not.
I agree with you completely, and they're going to need it, I think, this year if there is that conscious effort to slow down Kupp and the rest of the passing game. Last one. What's more likely? The Rams are top 5 in points per game this season, or they fall outside of the top 10. Now, for context,
yeah,
they were top 2 in points per game in Sean McVay's first 2 years in L.A. Since then, 11th in 2019, 22nd in 2020, and 7th last year. Are they top 5 or outside of the top 10? What's more likely?
I'm going to say if I got to choose between those two, I'm going to say top 5. I don't think they're going to fall outside the top 10. I don't. Just between McVay, the system he's got, his imagination to create some big plays, Stafford being in year 2. We've talked about some of the receivers. It's still pretty talented. I have a hard time thinking they can fall outside the top 10. So I'll go with the top 5 in points per game.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is one of those what's more likely that has a gap that we'd kind of be tempted to pick.
Yeah, right.
If I could choose 1 through 5, 5 through 10, or outside of the top 10, I'd go 5 through 10. But between the two, I agree. More likely top 5 than out of the top 10 because of McVay, because of Stafford, because of what we know they can do, even though they are in a difficult division.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.